The system is starting. You have been chosen to hear this. It is not by accident. In a world filled with noise, where everyone is quick to speak, quick to judge, you are being invited into a space of sacred silence, or a place where there is no opinion, no pressure, no expectations. It is just you and the voice that truly needs to be heard. Today, I have not come to add noise to your life. I have come to remind you, it is in silence that your soul is healed, and your mission begins.
Billy Graham once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." In a world that constantly seeks to dictate how we should feel, think, and act, imagine possessing the power to find inner peace and joy regardless of the chaos swirling around you. That isn't just powerful, it's transformative. It's about taking control, not of the external world, but of something far more significant and within your reach, your own mind. Billy Graham's teachings emphasize resilience, gratitude, and living a life filled with purpose and faith. But this isn't just about history, it's about you, your life today, and how to face the challenges of our modern world without losing your peace. It's about finding stillness in the storm, joy in the simplest moments, and transforming your mornings from something you dread into a foundation for a day filled with meaning. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by the noise of life, struggled to find peace, or wondered how faith can be your anchor in today's fast-pacing world, stay with us. This might just be the message that changes everything for you. Let's dive into the biblical principles that can help us craft not just a morning routine, but a life filled with intention, resilience, and lasting happiness. I encourage you to watch this video with your full attention. If you're here, you're different from the rest, someone who seeks wisdom and depth. Your commitment to absorbing these lessons fully sets you apart even further. A concept that beautifully aligns with faith is one that originates from Japan, Ikigai. It is the idea of discovering the intersection between your passion, skills, the world's needs, and what you can offer. Imagine waking up each morning with a clear, God-given purpose, something that excites you and makes hitting the snooze button irrelevant. Billy Graham didn't just preach about enduring life's hardships. He urged people to see each day as an opportunity to fulfill God's calling with integrity and passion. When you align your daily actions with your God-given purpose, even the simplest tasks take on profound meaning. Your relationships flourish, your creativity soars, and happiness becomes a constant companion rather than a fleeting visitor. But how do you uncover your purpose? It starts with reflection. Ask yourself, what has God placed on my heart? What am I naturally good at? How can I serve others in a meaningful way? If the answers don't come immediately, that's okay. This is a journey, one of prayer, discovery, and faith. This pursuit isn't just about personal fulfillment. It's about recognizing your role in God's grand design and embracing it fully. When you live with this alignment, even life's difficulties become opportunities for spiritual growth rather than setbacks. The key to a powerful morning starts the night before. It's easy to fall into the habit of staying up late, scrolling through social media or binge watching TV. But how does that prepare you for the day ahead? Your mind needs time to unwind, to process the events of the day, and to recharge for what's to come. This is where a meaningful evening routine makes all the difference. Treating your evenings with the same intention and respect as your mornings isn't about rigid discipline. It's about prioritizing your well-being and aligning with your God-given purpose. For example, limiting screen time before bed isn't about depriving yourself of entertainment. It's about signaling to your mind that it's time to rest, making it easier to wake up refreshed. Planning the next day, even by writing down a few key priorities, helps set a clear direction and ensures you wake up with intention. A moment of prayer or meditation before bed can center your spirit, reduce stress, and prepare you for true rest. When you surrender your worries to God, you sleep in peace, knowing He is in control. In today's world, this might sound like a challenge, but it is vital for setting the tone of your day Picture this, your morning, untainted by digital distractions, email notifications, or social media noise. Instead, it's just you, your thoughts, and the quiet presence of God. That isn't just refreshing, it's empowering. Billy Graham often emphasized the importance of starting the day with prayer and scripture, setting the foundation for a day rooted in faith rather than the chaos of the world. So, how can we apply this wisdom in our daily lives? It starts with creating a morning space free from digital distractions. This isn't about avoiding technology altogether, but about choosing not to let it dictate the beginning of your day. Instead of reaching for your phone first thing in the morning, begin with gratitude. Dedicate the first moments of your day to God, whether through prayer, scripture, journaling, or simply reflecting on His blessings. These aren't wasted moments. They are an investment in your well-being and spiritual strength. Making the most of your mornings isn't about adding more to your to-do list. It's about removing distractions that don't serve you. Prioritize what truly matters before the demands of the world start pulling at your attention. This is where biblical wisdom shines. We may not control everything in our day, but we can certainly influence how we start it. You might not be able to stop the flood of emails waiting for you, but you can control how and when you choose to engage with them. So tomorrow morning, challenge yourself to start your day on your terms. Resist the urge to dive into the digital world first thing. Instead, anchor yourself in the present moment, savoring the peace and potential that the morning holds. Every day is a new opportunity to live more intentionally, more peacefully, and more in alignment with who God has called you to be. Let's make our mornings a testament to the life we want to live and the faith we hold dear. Guided by the timeless wisdom of Billy Graham and an unwavering focus on what truly matters, the foundation of a purposeful life lies in understanding what we can control and acting with intention and faith. Billy Graham's teachings emphasize not just enduring life's hardships, but actively engaging with life, taking responsibility for our actions, and shaping our mindset through faith. Waking up consistently is one practice that reflects this principle. A declaration that we have control over how we start our day and are not at the mercy of external pressures. Building a life of faith, as Billy Graham encouraged, is done step by step, finding contentment in each moment. A seemingly simple habit, like waking up at the same time each morning, serves as a cornerstone that shapes everything else. It creates a stable foundation, allowing us to start the day with purpose rather than rushing in chaos. However, consistency is challenging by design. The early days of trying to establish a morning routine can feel like a struggle, with the comfort of bed pulling us back and the temptation to hit snooze proving strong. This is where perseverance, deeply rooted in faith, becomes essential. It is about reminding ourselves why we are committed to this habit and recognizing the person we are becoming through this discipline. It is about looking beyond the immediate comfort and focusing on the long-term benefits this practice will bring. Becoming a morning person is not merely about the morning itself. It is about embodying qualities of resilience, focus, and intention that extend into every part of our life. It is an act of self-discipline, aligning our actions with our faith and cultivating a life of purpose, one morning at a time. To make consistency a trusted ally, begin by setting a clear intention the night before. Remind yourself why waking up at a specific time is important. Is it to spend time in prayer, read scripture, exercise, or simply begin the day in a more peaceful and controlled manner? Then, create an environment that supports this habit, perhaps going to bed earlier, setting an alarm across the room, or allowing natural light to wake you. And when it gets difficult, remember the biblical principle of relying on God's strength rather than our own. Each morning that you rise at your chosen time is not just the beginning of another day. It is a reaffirmation of your commitment to personal growth, faith, and purposeful living. While discipline and consistency are crucial, it is equally important to embrace grace and self-compassion. We are human, and that means we are prone to struggles and setbacks. This is why establishing new habits like transforming our mornings can initially feel daunting. But acknowledging this reality is not a flaw, it is an honest acceptance of our nature. Billy Graham often spoke of God's grace as the foundation of transformation. It is not about perfection, but about persistence and faith. When we fall short, we must learn from the experience and move forward rather than dwelling on self-criticism. The early stages of building a habit can be difficult. Some mornings the alarm will go off and every fiber of our being will long to stay in bed. And on some days we may give in. That is okay. What matters most is what we do next. Do we let guilt consume us, or do we extend grace to ourselves and commit to trying again the next morning? True strength is found in resilience, not in never falling, but in always getting back up. Practicing self-compassion does not mean making excuses or giving up on our goals. It means recognizing that growth is a process filled with learning curves and setbacks. Each new day is an opportunity to recalibrate, to embrace new challenges, and to rely on God's guidance. This daily renewal is what strengthens our faith and resilience. As we work towards consistent early mornings or any new discipline, we must celebrate the small victories, learn from our mistakes, and continue forward with determination and grace. Consider something as simple as placing your alarm clock across the room. This small act is more than just a practical trick. It is a statement of intent. It signifies a commitment to rise and start the day on your terms, resisting the comfort of sleep and stepping into the morning with purpose. Similarly, making your bed each morning might seem insignificant, but it reflects care and discipline. It is a quiet declaration that your environment matters and that the order you create in your surroundings mirrors the discipline you are building within. Billy Graham often emphasized the power of small, consistent choices in shaping our character. These seemingly minor decisions, repeated daily, accumulate into something profound. Each time you choose to rise, to prepare your space, and to engage with your day intentionally, you are reinforcing a commitment to discipline, faith, and self-respect. These choices become the building blocks of a life that is grounded, purposeful, and prepared for greater challenges ahead. Why focus on these small acts? Because they are within our reach. We cannot always control life's major events, the unexpected turns, the challenges, or the uncertainties, but we can control how we start our day, how we treat our immediate surroundings, and how we prepare ourselves for what lies ahead. This is faith in action, focusing on what is within our power and surrendering the rest to God. Moreover, these habits are not just about building discipline for its own sake. They are about cultivating a mindset that is prepared for life's greater tests. When we train ourselves in small acts of discipline, we develop the ability to follow through in larger commitments, remain steady in adversity, and approach life with faith and resilience. These qualities reflect the teachings of Billy Graham. Living with intention, guided by faith, and steadfast in the pursuit of what truly matters. So as you consider discipline in your life, start small. Identify everyday opportunities to practice self-control and order. Remember that it is in the quiet moments of morning, in the decision to rise, to pray, to prepare, that your character is shaped. These habits are not mere tasks, they are rituals, infusing your day with purpose and your life with meaning. One simple yet powerful strategy for maintaining consistency is sharing your goals with someone who supports and holds you accountable. Whether it is a friend, family member, or mentor, having someone to encourage and check in on you can significantly enhance your chances of success. Transformation is not always a solitary journey. We grow stronger when we walk alongside those who uplift and inspire us. Ultimately, a life of discipline and faith is not about rigid rules or harsh expectations. It is about aligning our daily actions with our greater purpose, making small but meaningful choices that reflect our commitment to growth. As Billy Graham often preached, faith is a journey, not a destination. By embracing consistency, grace, and perseverance, we not only shape our mornings, but cultivate a life that is centered in faith, purpose, and unwavering trust in God. Transforming a personal journey into a shared adventure makes the pursuit of a meaningful morning routine and ultimately a purposeful life less daunting and more fulfilling. Having an accountability partner turns self-discipline into a collaborative effort, ensuring that even on the hardest mornings, you have someone to remind you of your commitments and encourage you when progress feels slow. They celebrate your victories, no matter how small, and help you stay aligned with your goals. This relationship is built on mutual support, rooted in the understanding that self-improvement is a collective journey rather than a solitary struggle. Billy Graham often emphasized the importance of surrounding oneself with a strong, faith-driven community, people who uplift, inspire, and challenge one another to grow spiritually and personally. He understood that faith is not meant to be lived in isolation, but nurtured through fellowship, accountability, and shared wisdom. In today's world, finding an accountability partner aligns with this timeless principle. It acknowledges that while discipline and purpose are deeply personal pursuits, they are strengthened through the encouragement of others. Having such a partner can provide insights into blind spots, offering perspectives that catalyze growth in unexpected ways. More than just a reminder to wake up on time or follow through with morning prayers, this connection fosters meaningful conversations about what works, what doesn't, and how to adjust to stay on track. When seeking an accountability partner, look for someone who shares your values and commitment to self-betterment, someone you trust to be honest and supportive. This could be a friend, family member, or mentor. Establish clear expectations, schedule regular check-ins, and make the effort to uplift each other through advice, encouragement, and when necessary, gentle correction. True accountability isn't about external motivation alone, but about forming a bond that cultivates spiritual and personal growth. It creates a space of honesty and trust, where both partners thrive in a shared commitment to living a disciplined, purpose-driven life. Billy Graham often spoke about the brevity of life and the urgency of living with purpose. Reflecting on the fleeting nature of time is not meant to instill fear, but rather to inspire action. Every morning is a gift, an opportunity to engage with life intentionally, to serve others, and to strengthen our relationship with God. Graham's messages were filled with reminders to focus on what truly matters, to prioritize faith, relationships, and acts of kindness over trivial distraction. When we start our mornings with this perspective, we shift our focus from mere routine to purposeful living. This awareness can profoundly influence how we spend our time, the relationships we invest in, and the legacy we strive to build. Rather than allowing ourselves to be consumed by temporary frustrations or superficial pursuits, we anchor ourselves in what is eternal. Remembering the brevity of life also fosters resilience. When we recognize that each day is a gift, we become less troubled by daily inconveniences and more focused on long-term spiritual growth. It helps us maintain perspective, reducing the power that setbacks or disappointments hold over us. Gratitude flourishes in this mindset, allowing us to approach each day with a renewed sense of appreciation for the blessings we often take for granted. This principle is not about dwelling on the end of life, but about embracing the present fully, choosing to live with intention, love with depth, and serve with sincerity. To incorporate this mindset into your daily routine, start each morning with a moment of reflection. Consider the opportunities ahead and ask yourself, if this were my last day, would I be proud of how I am choosing to live it? This is not about anxiety, but about making conscious choices that align with faith, values, and purpose. Billy Graham often spoke of preparation, not just for the future, but for the challenges of each day. Many believe in focusing solely on positive visualization, expecting success and happiness to manifest through optimism. However, a more profound perspective involves preparing for difficulties with faith and resilience. Negative visualization is not about pessimism, but about readiness, a tool that equips us to handle life's challenges with strength and wisdom. Graham's teachings frequently echoed this idea, urging people to trust in God while also preparing their hearts and minds for inevitable struggles. This practice involves periodically considering potential difficulties and how we might respond with grace and faith. It could be as minor as dealing with unexpected delays or as significant as facing loss or hardship. The goal is not to dwell on suffering, but to develop the mental and spiritual fortitude needed to endure trials with unwavering trust in God. By contemplating life's uncertainties, we grow in resilience and gratitude. In allowing hardships to shake our faith, we can use them to strengthen it. Starting the day with this mindset transforms our approach to life's unpredictability. We step into each moment prepared, not fearful. We handle setbacks with composure, knowing that we have already visualized and prayed through these scenarios. This practice doesn't diminish joy, but enhances it. By recognizing the fragility of life, we cherish it more deeply. To integrate this principle into your morning routine, take a moment to reflect on potential challenges and how you would respond with faith and wisdom. Visualize the strength you would need, the lessons you could learn, and how you would rely on God for guidance. This mindset does not invite negativity, but empowers you to meet life's uncertainties with courage and trust. Billy Graham's teachings consistently reinforce the importance of spiritual preparedness, of equipping the heart and mind through faith, prayer, and reflection. In embracing this principle, we cultivate resilience, deepen our gratitude, and approach each day with the strength to live fully and faithfully. Let each morning serve as a reminder that life is a precious gift, one to be lived with purpose, intention, and an unwavering commitment to God's plan. Then, let go of the visualization and move forward with your day, carrying a sense of preparedness and a heightened appreciation for your current circumstances. Incorporating gratitude into our lives, especially as we end our day, can have a transformative impact on our well-being and perspective. Keeping a gratitude journal is a beautifully simple yet profoundly effective way to cultivate this sense of appreciation. Taking a few moments before bed to reflect on the day and jot down a few things we're grateful for, whether it be a kind gesture from a stranger, a breathtaking sunset, the completion of a challenging task, or simply the comfort of our bed, helps shift our focus from what is lacking to the abundance that already exists. This practice aligns perfectly with Billy Graham's teachings, which emphasize focusing on what we have rather than what we don't, on what is within our control rather than what isn't. This shift in perspective not only sets the stage for a peaceful night's sleep, free from the turmoil of unfulfilled desires or lingering frustrations, but it also primes our minds to begin the next day with a sense of purpose and gratitude. But why end the day with gratitude? Because it allows us to close our day on a note of positivity, regardless of the challenges we may have faced. It is a way of reaffirming the good in our lives, finding peace, even in turmoil, and fostering a mindset that sees opportunities for growth and joy in every circumstance. This nightly practice of gratitude creates a ripple effect, influencing not just how we sleep, but how we wake up and approach our mornings. It transforms our first thoughts of the day from dreading the alarm clock to quietly anticipating what the new day holds and what new things we might discover to be grateful for. Moreover, this practice of appreciating life extends beyond our personal sphere. It enhances our relationships as we become more attuned to the value of those around us and more expressive of our appreciation for their presence in our lives. It deepens our connection to the world as we become more observant of and thankful for the beauty and wonder that surround us, often in the most mundane moments. As we consider the multitude of strategies to enrich our mornings and by extension our lives, let us not overlook the power of ending our day with gratitude. It is a practice that embodies the pursuit of a meaningful life, one marked not by external achievements or material possessions, but by inner peace, contentment, and a deep-seated appreciation for the present moment. As we conclude this journey through the 10 strategies inspired by Billy Graham's wisdom, it becomes clear that each step, each practice is more than just a task. It is a pathway to cultivating a life of intention, resilience, and profound gratitude. Embracing these practices does not mean that every day will be perfect, but it does mean that each day will be met with a stronger, more grateful, and more resilient version of yourself. You have within you the power to transform not just your mornings, but your entire life into a reflection of the ideals of virtue, wisdom, and contentment. Remember, this is just the beginning. There is a vast world of wisdom waiting to be explored, ready to guide you on your path to living a more meaningful and fulfilled life. If you found this journey enlightening and are eager to dive deeper into these teachings, I encourage you to explore our playlist right here on the screen. It is packed with insights, stories, and practical tips to help you embrace the full richness of this wisdom. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more content. Please leave your comments and share your experiences. Let's embark on this journey of growth, resilience, and fulfillment together. Here's to mornings filled with purpose, days lived with intention, and a life brimming with gratitude. Thank you for being part of this community. See you soon. Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in every man's life when the silence in his home speaks louder than the noise of the world. He wakes up to an empty room, walks through a house filled with echoes, and sits at a table where no one waits for him. The world around him rushes forward. Couples holding hands, laughter in the air, love stories unfolding before his eyes. Yet he walks a different path, not because he cannot love, but because life has led him to a place where he must stand alone. Loneliness is not always a choice, but how a man faces it defines his strength. There are those who believe that without a partner, without a hand to hold, without a voice calling their name in the night, life is incomplete. But what if I told you that the solitude of one man can hold more power than the distractions of 1,000 voices? What if I told you that in the quiet, in the stillness, in the moments where no one watches? This is not a story of despair, nor is it a cry for sympathy. This is a story of resilience, of faith, of a man who chooses to walk this road with his head held high, knowing that his worth is not determined by whether someone stands beside him, because when the world says you need someone to complete you, there is a deeper voice whispering, you are already whole. There is a common misunderstanding in the world today that being alone is a sign of weakness. People often assume that a man who lives without a partner, without a girlfriend, without someone constantly by his side, must be lacking something, must be incomplete, must be in need of fixing. But the truth is far greater than that. Solitude is not a burden, it is a gift. It is not a sign of weakness, it is a training ground for strength. Think of the great men in history, the ones who changed the course of the world. They were not always surrounded by crowds. Many of them walked alone for long seasons of their lives. They spent time in deep thought, in prayer, in reflection. They did not fear the silence because they understood that silence is where strength is built. It is in solitude that a man truly meets himself, where he faces his deepest fears, his greatest doubts, and his most powerful dream. When a man is alone, he is given the opportunity to develop something that many never will: inner resilience. In the noise of companionship, it is easy to lean on others, to let their voices drown out the whispers of his own soul. But when he walks alone, he has no choice but to listen. He hears his own thoughts, his own struggles, his own questions about life. And in that process, he learns to stand firm. He learns to be his own anchor, his own foundation, his own guide. This kind of strength is not found in crowds. It is not developed in constant company. It is forged in the fire of solitude. It is in the quiet moments when no one is watching that a man discovers what he is truly made of. He learns that his worth is not determined by who loves him, who stands beside him, or who calls his name in the night. His worth is found in his character, his integrity, his ability to walk forward even when no one is cheering him on. Society has painted a picture that a man without a woman is somehow lost, but what if he is not lost at all? What if instead he is being refined? What if his solitude is not an accident but a divine appointment? What if this time alone is not meant to break him but to build him? The world sees a man sitting alone and assumes he is lonely. But what if he is sitting in the presence of something greater? What if he is listening to a voice that others are too distracted to hear? Strength is not found in the easy places. It is not built in comfort. It is shaped in the moments where a man has to face himself, where he has to wrestle with his own thoughts, where he has to decide who he will be when no one else is looking. A man who learns to stand strong in solitude is a man who cannot be shaken. When the storms of life come, he has already faced his greatest battles alone, and he has won. Think of the warrior who trains in the mountains far away from the noise of the city. He does not need an audience. He does not require applause. He trains in silence, knowing that when the time comes, he will be ready. He does not question his purpose simply because he walks alone. He knows that his strength is being built in the hidden places, in the moments no one sees. And so it is with a man who lives alone. His life is not empty. It is full of preparation. His days are not wasted. They are being used to refine him. He is not without direction. He is being led in ways that only those who embrace solitude can understand. He is learning patience, discipline, focus. He is developing a kind of strength that is unshakable, that is not dependent on circumstances or people. There will be times when doubt creeps in, when the world's voice tries to convince him that he is missing out, that he is somehow incomplete. But those who know the power of solitude do not give in to those lies. They understand that true strength is not found in being surrounded by people, but in knowing who you are when you stand alone. A man who embraces solitude is not running from love. He is preparing for something deeper. He is not afraid of companionship. He is simply not desperate for it. He knows that his value is not tied to his relationship status. His worth is not measured by who chooses him. His identity is not wrapped up in whether he is alone or not. This kind of man walks with confidence, not because he has everything, but because he knows that what he lacks does not define him. He is aware that solitude is not a curse, but a season of growth. He does not waste his days longing for someone to complete him. Instead, he uses his days to become complete within himself. And when the world looks at him, when they wonder how he can stand so strong, how he can walk with such purpose despite being alone, they will see the truth. They will see that solitude is not a sign of weakness. It is a training ground for strength. It is where a man is made, where his heart is tested, where his soul is refined. The man who learns to stand alone is the man who will never be shaken, no matter what life brings. Loneliness was never meant to be a punishment. What if the moments of solitude were not signs of something missing, but invitations to something greater? When a man finds himself alone, he stands at a crossroads. He can either see his solitude as an unbearable burden, something to escape at any cost, or he can embrace it as a season of growth, a time of refinement, a sacred space where he can discover the depths of his own soul. Those who run from loneliness often run from themselves. They distract themselves with people, with noise, with anything that will keep them from sitting in silence and facing the deeper questions of life. But those who are brave enough to embrace solitude, to lean into the silence, to listen to what their heart is truly saying, these are the men who grow. These are the men who become strong, not just in body, but in mind, in spirit, and wisdom. Loneliness has a way of revealing who a man really is. When no one else is around to affirm him, to validate him, to tell him what to do, he is left with nothing but himself, and in that space, he must decide who he is, without the influence of a relationship, without the expectations of others shaping his identity. He has the rare opportunity to strip away everything false and come face to face with his true self. This is where faith is tested. When a man is alone, he can no longer rely on the comfort of another person's presence to keep him stable. He must turn to something deeper, something eternal. He must find his grounding in faith, in a belief that he is not truly alone, that there is a greater purpose behind his solitude. It is in these moments that he learns to trust, to listen, to seek something beyond the physical world. Some of the greatest men in history have walked through long seasons of solitude. They withdrew from the world not because they were weak, but because they understood that true strength is built in the quiet places. They knew that in order to lead, in order to make an impact, in order to become who they were meant to be, they had to first find themselves in the stillness. They did not fear being alone because they knew that solitude was a classroom where wisdom is taught. A man who embraces loneliness as an opportunity rather than a curse begins to see life differently. He no longer views himself as someone who is missing out, but as someone who is being prepared. He understands that this season of being alone is not about what he lacks, but about what he is gaining. He is gaining clarity. He is gaining inner peace. He is gaining a deeper understanding of himself and of the world around him. It is in solitude that a man can refine his thoughts, sharpen his vision, and strengthen his character. When there are no distractions, when there is no one else to impress, he has the freedom to be honest with himself. He can evaluate his values, his beliefs, his goals. He can ask himself the hard questions. What do I truly want? What do I truly believe? Who am I when no one else is watching? These are the questions that many people avoid their entire lives. They stay busy, they jump from one relationship to the next. They fill their days with constant activity so that they never have to stop and think. But a man who is willing to embrace solitude, to sit in the quiet and wrestle with these questions, will come out stronger, wiser, and more at peace than those who spend their lives running from loneliness. Faith is not something that grows in comfort. It is not something that develops when everything is going well, when a man is surrounded by love and companionship. Faith is built in the moments when he has nothing else to rely on, when he must stand alone and trust that there is something greater holding him up. Faith is what carries a man through the seasons of solitude, reminding him that he is never truly alone, that even in the silence he is being watched over, guided. Self-awareness is another gift that comes with embracing loneliness. When a man has time to reflect, to truly understand himself, he becomes more secure in who he is. He no longer seeks approval from others because he has already approved of himself. He no longer fears rejection because he knows his worth does not depend on anyone else's opinion. This kind of self-awareness creates confidence, not the shallow confidence that comes from external validation, but a deep, unshakable confidence that comes from knowing exactly who you are. A man who has spent time alone, who has faced himself, who has taken the opportunity to grow in faith and self-awareness, is a man who is ready for anything. He is not desperate for a relationship because he has already built a full and meaningful life on his own. He is not afraid of being alone because he has learned to enjoy his own company. He does not feel the need to prove anything to anyone because he has already proven to himself that he is strong, capable, and whole. The world often views loneliness as a problem that needs to be solved, but the truth is, loneliness is an invitation. It is an opportunity to step into something greater, to develop a deeper relationship with oneself and with God, to refine one's purpose and prepare for the future. It is not an absence, but a gift, a space in which a man can grow in ways that he never could if he were constantly surrounded by people. So when a man finds himself alone, he should not see it as a punishment. He should not rush to fill the space with meaningless distractions. Instead, he should embrace it, use it, cherish it, because in that solitude he will find something far greater than he ever imagined. He will find himself. The world watches him, wondering why he is not desperate for a relationship, questioning how he can be content in solitude. But in their curiosity, they see the truth. He is not empty, not waiting for someone to complete him. He is already whole, already strong, already living with purpose. If love enters his life, it will not be because he needed it to survive, but because he was already thriving and found someone who was doing the same. Love for him is not a desperate search for completion, but an extension of the wholeness he has cultivated within himself. A man's peace should never be dependent on another person. In a world that relentlessly promotes the idea that happiness comes from being with someone, that fulfillment is tied to relationships, true strength lies in standing alone and saying, my peace does not depend on anyone but me. Too many people place the burden of their inner peace on someone else, expecting another to bring them happiness, to heal their emotional wounds, to calm their storms. But a man who understands his worth, who has built his life on a foundation stronger than fleeting emotions, knows that peace is internal, something no one else can give or take away. Peace is not found in another person, it is found within. A man who relies on others for emotional stability will always be at the mercy of their actions. If they love him, he is happy. If they leave him, he is broken. If they approve of him, he feels worthy. If they reject him, he feels lost. But this is not peace, this is dependency. And a man who lives in dependency can never truly be free. True peace is unshakable. It is not built on relationships, emotions, or circumstances, but on a foundation that remains steady despite life's changes. A man who has found true peace within himself is not shaken by loneliness. He does not rush into relationships to escape solitude, nor does he seek validation from others because he has already validated himself. His sense of security is not rooted in companionship, but in something far deeper than human connection. This kind of peace is rare, but powerful. It allows a man to walk through life with confidence, knowing that no matter what happens, he will remain standing. This is not to say that love and companionship are not beautiful. They are, but they should never be the foundation of a man's peace. A relationship should add to his life, not be the glue that holds it together. Too often, people enter relationships hoping for stability, only to find that when the relationship struggles, their entire world collapses. But a man who has built his peace from within does not experience this. He welcomes love when it comes, but does not depend on it for survival. If a relationship ends, he does not crumble because his foundation was never built on another person. It was built on something far stronger. When a man finds peace within himself, he no longer feels the need to prove anything to anyone. He does not chase approval, does not beg for attention, and does not fear being alone. He is content with his own company. He enjoys solitude not because he is antisocial, but because he understands the value of being at peace with himself. He does not need constant validation to feel worthy because he has already determined his worth. The world struggles to understand such a man. It wonders why he is not desperate for love, why he does not seek someone to complete him. It cannot comprehend how a man can be happy, confident, and fulfilled without a romantic relationship. But the truth is, this man has discovered something many never will. That real peace is not found in another person, but in truly knowing oneself and being completely secure in that knowledge. This kind of peace makes a man powerful, unbreakable. It allows him to walk through life with his head held high, not out of arrogance, but out of certainty, because he knows that nothing outside of him can destroy what he has built within. He does not fear abandonment because he has never abandoned himself. He does not fear rejection because he has already accepted himself. A man who has mastered his own peace does not chase love. Love finds him. There is something deeply attractive about a man who is secure, who does not need a relationship to feel valuable, who carries himself with quiet confidence. When love does come, it is a choice, not a necessity. He does not enter relationships out of fear of being alone, but out of a genuine desire to share his life with someone. Too many people spend their lives running from themselves, filling their days with distractions, relationships, anything to avoid sitting alone with their thoughts. But a man who has found peace within does not run. He stands still, faces himself, and learns to love his own company. He understands that his worth is not defined by whether someone loves him, but by the character he has built the values he upholds, and the way he moves through the world. This does not mean life will always be easy. Even the strongest man faces challenges, struggles, and moments of doubt. But a man who has built his peace internally knows how to withstand the storm. He does not allow circumstances to dictate his happiness, heartbreak to destroy him, or loneliness to define him. He knows that no matter what happens, he will be okay, because his peace is not something that can be taken away. It is something that lives within him. A man who has found his own peace is not bitter. He does not walk through life with resentment, blaming others for his struggles or holding grudges against those who have hurt him. He understands that peace is not just about being alone, but about letting go of anger, pain, and anything that threatens to steal his joy. He forgives not because others deserve it, but because he refuses to let negativity take root in his heart. He moves forward not because he is unaffected by life's difficulties, but because he has learned how to carry them without allowing them to weigh him down. In a world that constantly tells people they need someone else to be happy, he stands apart. He proves that wholeness is not found in another person, but in a deep understanding of oneself. Because of this, he is not easily shaken. He does not waver in the face of hardship, nor does he waver in the face of love. He knows that his life has meaning whether or not someone is standing beside him, and so he walks with peace, unrushed, unshaken, undeterred by the opinions of others. He understands that true happiness does not come from being with someone, but from being at peace with oneself. And once a man has found this peace, nothing in the world can take it from him. A man who walks his path alone is not weak, he is strong beyond measure. In a world that glorifies companionship, relationships, and social validation, it takes a rare kind of strength for a man to walk alone, to build himself without leaning on another, to carve his own path without waiting for someone to walk beside him. This is not the path of a man who has failed to find love, but of one who refuses to settle for anything less than his purpose. Society often misconstrues solitude as failure, assuming that a man without a partner is incomplete. But a man who knows his worth understands that solitude is not a curse, it is a gift, a space where he can grow, sharpen his mind, and become exactly who he was meant to be. He is not afraid of silence. He does not fear the empty spaces that others rush to fill with temporary distractions. He embraces them, knowing that in the quiet, he hears himself the loudest. He does not let the world define him because he has already defined himself. He does not require constant validation because he has already determined his own worth. When the world sees him, it may not understand his journey, may question why he is not desperate for love, but he does not need their understanding. He only needs his own. For the strongest men in history, the ones who left legacies that lasted long after they were gone, were those unafraid to walk alone. They knew that solitude is not emptiness but power, that walking alone is not weakness but strength. And so he walks, not with loneliness but with purpose, not with desperation but with confidence, not with emptiness but with the fullness of knowing exactly who he is. Billy Graham, a renowned spiritual leader, emphasized that true strength is not found in overpowering external forces, but in mastering our own emotions. In today's world, this wisdom is more relevant than ever. Have you ever felt emotionally drained after interacting with someone negative? Toxic individuals can disrupt our mental well-being, leaving us feeling frustrated and powerless. But what if there were practical strategies to handle these challenging interactions? In this video, we'll explore 13 practical Billy Graham-inspired strategies that will empower you to manage toxic people with compassion, grace, and resilience. Join me on this journey to safeguard your emotional well-being, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights on building mental resilience. By the end of this video, you'll have a powerful set of tools rooted in wisdom to effectively handle toxic individuals. So take a deep breath, and let's begin. Number one, identifying and understanding the toxic threat. Imagine yourself as a guardian standing at the entrance of your own personal stronghold, a fortress representing your inner tranquility, physical health, and emotional security. Awareness is the first defense in protecting this sacred space. Just as a vigilant sentry must recognize potential threats, you must identify the signs that a toxic individual is approaching. Billy Graham, known for his teachings on faith and self-control, emphasized that it is not the events themselves that disturb us, but rather our interpretation of them. This is especially vital when dealing with toxic people. Their negativity and manipulative behaviors do not have power over you. It is your reaction to them that determines their impact on your inner peace. Mastering a calm and objective perspective is the key to handling these situations effectively. Learning to recognize toxic behaviors is a crucial first step. Here are some key warning signs. Constant criticism. These individuals always find fault in you, your actions, or your decisions, leaving you feeling uncertain about yourself. Manipulation. They use flattery, guilt trips, or threats to control your behavior. Negativity. Such individuals thrive on pessimism, constantly complaining and dragging others down with their bleak outlook. Beyond these general traits, there are specific toxic personality types to be aware of. The narcissist seeks constant approval and admiration. They may appear charming initially, but ultimately their interactions leave you emotionally drained. The gossip thrives on social conflict, spreading rumors and causing tension among others. The energy vampire, as the name suggests, drains your mental and emotional energy, leaving you exhausted after each interaction. By recognizing these toxic patterns, you can develop a mental map of potential threats to your emotional fortress. Just as a wise leader anticipates the tactics of an adversary, you can use this awareness to predict toxic behaviors and safeguard your emotional well-being. Number 2, fortify your walls. Picture Marcus Aurelius, the famous Roman emperor known for his wisdom and unshakable resolve. To rule a vast empire, he needed strength, knowledge, and unwavering determination. These same qualities are essential in building the walls of your inner fortress, your emotional resilience. Boundaries form the foundation of this stronghold. When dealing with toxic individuals, boundaries define what you will and will not tolerate. Just as a powerful ruler would never allow his borders to be breached, you must not allow toxic people to violate your emotional space. Billy Graham's teachings emphasize the importance of self-discipline and wisdom. The first step is to identify which behaviors drain your energy or compromise your values. Is it a friend's relentless negativity, a coworker's manipulative tendencies, a family member's intrusive advice? Be honest about what you will not accept. Once you've identified these boundaries, the next step is to communicate them clearly, channel your inner strength, be firm but fair. Use these effective strategies. Express your feelings using I statements. Instead of saying, "You are always so negative," try, "I feel drained," when the focus is always on the negative. Be specific. Avoid vague statements like, "I need space." Instead say, "I can't talk right now, but I'd be happy to chat later this week." Stay calm but firm. Assertiveness is not aggression. Communicate with confidence while maintaining kindness. Establishing boundaries is not a one-time task. It requires consistent reinforcement. Just as a ruler remains vigilant against potential threats, you must stand firm in upholding your boundaries. A weak wall is easily breached. If a toxic person disregards your limits, calmly remind them of the boundary. In some cases, you may need to reduce interactions or even walk away entirely. Setting boundaries isn't about punishing others. It's about protecting yourself. Envy, a vice often fueling toxic behavior, was something Billy Graham warned against. By establishing boundaries, you are not acting selfishly, but rather creating the necessary space to cultivate inner peace. A well-defended emotional fortress is essential on the path to a life of resilience and tranquility. Number 3, become uninteresting to the emotional attacker. Picture an emotional aggressor, someone fueled by negativity, seeking dramatic conflict, Some toxic individuals thrive on drawing reactions from others. They provoke with insults, seeking to ignite anger or hurt, feeding off your emotional response. This is where the philosophy of emotional regulation and detachment becomes an invaluable tool. Inspired by this wisdom, therapist Paul Friedman developed the Gray Rock Method. This technique involves reducing emotional engagement with toxic individuals, not by shutting down completely, but by becoming as neutral and unresponsive as a dull gray rock. By refusing to provide the reaction they seek, you deny them the fuel they crave, ultimately discouraging further conflict. This approach aligns with the teachings of patience and self-control, allowing you to maintain your peace even in the face of negativity. Through these strategies, you can navigate difficult interactions with grace and resilience. By identifying toxic behaviors, setting firm boundaries, and maintaining emotional detachment, you reclaim your inner strength. Stay on this journey of growth and let wisdom guide you to a life of peace and emotional fortitude, and which does not provide any foothold for negativity to take hold. To further analyze this approach, let us draw upon the wisdom of Seneca, a great Roman philosopher. Seneca teaches that true happiness lies in embracing the present without an anxious dependence on the future. This serves as a reminder to free ourselves from the need for attention. Those who exhibit toxic behavior often seek attention, whether positive or negative. The Gray Rock Method denies them the emotional response they crave. When they attempt to stir chaos, you remain unengaging, a dull, unremarkable presence. Neutral responses serve as your shield. The Gray Rock Method involves responding to negative comments with neutral, factual statements. It is essential to avoid emotional disputes or justifications. If a toxic friend insults your work, you can deflect their negativity by simply saying, "That's interesting," without offering further fuel. Toxic individuals often try to manipulate emotions using sarcasm, guilt trips, or outright hostility. In these moments, disengagement is key. Maintain composure, respond factually, and refuse to be drawn into their drama. Remember, Seneca teaches that the path to genuine happiness is not to entertain either hopes or fears. Do not grant them the emotional power they seek. While the Gray Rock Method is a powerful tool, it is not a miracle cure. Some toxic individuals may initially escalate their behavior to test your emotional resilience. Stay calm, be consistent, and remember that you are not responsible for their negativity. By applying this approach inspired by Billy Graham, you shift from being a passive victim of their emotional theatrics to an unshaken observer, safeguarding your inner peace and emotional well-being. Number 4, the broken record technique. Imagine being subjected to a relentless wave of manipulation with a toxic individual chipping away at your boundaries using deceptive arguments and emotional tactics. Such persistence can be exhausting and frustrating. However, the principles of unwavering reason and perseverance, as emphasized by Billy Graham, form the foundation of the broken record technique. A powerful defense strategy, the broken record technique is a method designed to counter manipulation. It involves calmly and repeatedly stating a clear position, much like a skipping record replaying the same message. This seemingly simple approach can be remarkably effective in deflecting attempts to derail you and reinforcing your boundaries. Billy Graham emphasized that true freedom lies in the ability to set and maintain personal boundaries without feeling the need to justify them. The broken record technique exemplifies this principle by calmly and consistently repeating your stance. You demonstrate unwavering determination and prevent manipulators from swaying you. Manipulators often use emotional tactics such as flattery, guilt, or rage to gain control. The broken record technique allows you to resist their influence by keeping the conversation grounded in reason. Consistently reiterating your position unsettles manipulators, disrupting their strategy and exposing the weakness of their arguments. Imagine a wave crashing against an immovable rock. the rock remains steadfast while the wave dissipates. Contrary to popular belief, the broken record technique does not promote confrontation. Instead, it emphasizes calmly maintaining your stance and reinforcing your boundaries without engaging in emotional disputes. Remember, Billy Graham highlighted reason and logic as guiding principles for navigating life's challenges. By employing this method, you empower yourself to resist exploitation and protect your inner peace with unwavering resolve. Number 5, don't take the bait. Picture a skilled fisherman casting a line baited with negativity, hoping to ensnare you in emotional turmoil. Toxic individuals use provocations, insults, or guilt trips to elicit reactions that fuel their drama. However, the teachings of Billy Graham offer a powerful defense. Indifference, apathy suggests a lack of concern, whereas indifference signifies detachment from destructive emotions and irrational judgments. This distinction is crucial when dealing with toxic individuals. Recognizing their strategy is the first step. Be aware of the telltale signs of manipulation: a sarcastic remark, a veiled insult, or a guilt-laden suggestion. Once you identify their tactic, you weaken its effectiveness. The bait is designed to provoke anger, frustration, or defensiveness. Choosing stoic indifference allows you to remain emotionally unhooked from their negativity. Imagine a scenario where you simply observe the bait without reacting. By refusing to engage, their power over you diminishes. Their negative remarks lose strength and fade without a response. Drama cannot thrive without participation. This does not mean becoming cold or unfeeling. The philosophy of Billy Graham encourages the expression of positive emotions while advocating detachment from harmful ones. By practicing indifference, you transition from a participant in their drama to a peaceful observer, demonstrating that you will not be drawn into their emotional web. Your inner tranquility remains intact, a sanctuary of peace and resilience. Number 6, the art of non-reaction. Imagine encountering someone who thrives in verbal combat, a master of insults and provocations, drawing energy from heated exchanges. Some individuals are adept at using words as weapons, aiming to provoke anger, humiliate, and ultimately drag you into their emotional turmoil. Here lies a strategy often overlooked, yet profoundly effective: the art of non-reaction. When applied deliberately, silence can become a powerful tool against verbal assaults, disrupting the dynamic they seek to control and leaving them disarmed. However, maintaining silence is not always easy. The instinct to respond, defend ourselves, or win an argument is deeply ingrained. Yet Billy Graham emphasized the power of mastering our reactions. True control is demonstrated through restraint, choosing stillness at the right moment. To understand the strength of non-reaction, consider the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, the esteemed Roman emperor and philosopher. Breaking the cycle of toxicity. Toxic individuals operate within predictable patterns. Their negativity thrives on eliciting reactions: anger, frustration, or defensiveness. When you respond emotionally, you fuel their fire and sustain the cycle. Choosing not to engage disrupts this pattern, denying them the response they seek. Imagine a tennis player delivering a powerful serve to an empty court. The ball lands with a hollow thud, met with silence. In this scenario, silence is not emptiness. It is a profound form of communication. It signals self-retrieve and a refusal to participate in negativity. This act of non-engagement conveys strength and detachment from emotional manipulation. As Marcus Aurelius advised, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. True resilience lies in maintaining composure, remaining reasonable, and refusing to be shaken by external provocations. Preparing for escalation. When employing non-reaction, expect resistance. Toxic individuals may intensify their efforts, launching further verbal attacks to force a response. Stay composed, unmoved by their tactics. Remember, silence is not a sign of weakness, but a strategic tool wielded by those with true strength. While non-reaction is not a universal solution, it is a vital component of your inner arsenal. Used wisely, it can neutralize negativity, protect your inner peace, and reinforce your emotional autonomy. Choosing silence is a powerful statement in itself. It signifies refusal to play their game. Number 7, limiting exposure. Picture yourself within a fortified citadel, safeguarding your mental well-being with firm boundaries. However, even the strongest walls cannot entirely shield you from external threats. Just as persistent intruders attempt to breach defenses, toxic individuals may seek to infiltrate your space. Here, the principle of controlling what you can comes into play. While you cannot control the actions of others, you can regulate your exposure to them. One of the most effective defenses is minimizing time spent with toxic individuals. Whenever possible, create physical distance. Can you reschedule a meeting? Politely excuse yourself from an unnecessary discussion? This is not about rudeness, but self-preservation. Just as a wise leader avoids unnecessary battles, you should steer clear of negativity that serves no purpose. However, complete avoidance is not always feasible. Toxic individuals may be colleagues, family members, or even close acquaintances. In such cases, establishing emotional distance is crucial. This can be achieved through several key strategies. Epictetus, a notable philosopher, taught that happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one another. This wisdom underscores the importance of mental detachment. Recognizing someone's negativity does not mean internalizing it. Observe their behavior objectively without allowing it to influence your mindset. Cognitive reframing is another valuable tool. Toxic individuals often manipulate emotions through negativity, but Stoic principles offer a solution. Reframe their pessimism as an observation rather than a personal affront. If a colleague constantly complains, view it as, they seem to be struggling today, rather than allowing their attitude to impact your own. Furthermore, focusing on the positive is essential. Toxic individuals thrive on negativity, but you do not have to absorb it. Direct your attention to meaningful aspects of your life, your passions, your purpose, and your supportive relationships. These act as emotional shields, offering refuge from external toxicity. Setting boundaries is not an act of cowardice, but a necessary step in self-care. Protecting your peace aligns with a Stoic commitment to rational living. By reducing exposure to negativity, you create space for personal growth and fulfillment. Imagine your fortress encircled by a wide moat, not only a physical barrier, but an emotional safeguard against toxicity. Number 8, building a support system. Picture yourself as the guardian of your inner stronghold. Your walls are reinforced with firm boundaries. You have mastered the art of non-reaction and minimized your exposure to negativity. However, even the bravest warrior requires a strong flank, a formation of trusted allies. Your support system is your foundation, essential in preserving inner tranquility. Facing negativity alone is daunting, but with a network of virtuous companions, resilience becomes sustainable. Billy Graham often spoke of the power of surrounding oneself with positive influences. The Stoics, particularly Seneca, emphasized living in harmony with nature, an idea reflected in the strength of supportive relationships. In challenging times, seek those who uplift and encourage. Genuine allies provide perspective, reinforcing your commitment to wisdom and self-mastery. Whether through close friendships, mentors, or a like-minded community, your support system serves as both a refuge and a source of strength. In the journey toward inner peace, isolation is unnecessary. Fortify yourself with the presence of those who inspire and elevate you. Surrounding yourself with individuals who uplift, inspire, and share your core values can be invaluable, especially in difficult times. These are the people you turn to for support and guidance, those who listen attentively, offer wise counsel, and provide unwavering encouragement. A strong support system serves as a protective buffer against the harmful influence of toxic individuals. When dealing with negativity, the emotional toll can be significant. Having a safe space for self-expression allows you to process experiences and share frustrations. Trustworthy friends or family members who offer understanding and compassion become an essential support network, reminding you that you are not alone. Toxic people often undermine your sense of self-worth, but a solid support system counteracts this negativity by reinforcing your strengths and reminding you of the value you bring to the world. Their faith in you strengthens your resolve, reigniting the inner fire that negativity attempts to extinguish. Billy Graham emphasized the importance of surrounding oneself with individuals who embody the virtues one seeks to cultivate. A community of like-minded individuals who uplift and support one another serves as a powerful source of inspiration. Observing their strength, resilience, and positive outlook enables you to develop similar traits, enhancing your ability to navigate challenges with grace. Building a strong support network is an ongoing process. It requires nurturing existing relationships while seeking out individuals whose values align with yours. To cultivate this powerful alliance, consider investing in quality time. Engage in meaningful conversations, share experiences, and deepen connections. Joining clubs, volunteer organizations, or online communities aligned with your interests can introduce you to like-minded individuals who provide natural encouragement and reinforcement. Never underestimate the power of gratitude. Acknowledge those who support you, recognizing their positive impact on your well-being. Express appreciation for their presence in your life and their steadfast encouragement. By fostering a strong support system, you create a protective shield against negativity. The presence of uplifting influences grants you strength, perspective, and renewed optimism. Just as even the most fortified stronghold benefits from external reinforcement, your trusted companions become the steadfast defense that ensures your inner peace remains secure. Prioritizing self-care is essential when dealing with toxic individuals, akin to facing an unrelenting battle. Negativity depletes emotional energy, leaving you drained. Protecting yourself requires making self-care a foundational element of your lifestyle. Just as a warrior tends to their wounds and sharpens their blade, self-care is an investment in your mental resilience. Integrate it into your daily routine, treating it as a necessary practice rather than an afterthought. Engaging in activities that bring joy, such as exercise, artistic expression, or writing, helps relieve stress, recharge your emotional reserves, and restore perspective. Billy Graham and his followers valued mindfulness, a practice akin to meditation. Regular meditation calms the mind, detaches you from negative thoughts, and fosters inner peace. Making it a part of your self-care routine equips you with a powerful tool to combat stress and external negativity. Seeking solace in nature is another profound practice. Spending time outdoors, whether through a walk in the park or a hike in the woods, significantly enhances emotional well-being. Nature offers perspective, alleviates stress, and counterbalances the toxicity that may surround you. Think of self-care as fortifying your emotional defenses. A well-rested, centered individual is better equipped to navigate negativity. Just as a warrior ensures their armor is strong and their weapon is sharp, engaging in self-care strengthens your emotional resilience. Listen to your body's signals. Recognize signs of exhaustion, stress, or depletion, and respond accordingly. Rather than waiting until